Did you know?
I thought you were going to wear your costume.
Dude, they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me. I love wearing that thing.
I was gonna wear a Mrs. Wilfred costume. I have a big crush on you.
I know.
Did you see what I put on Facebook yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you bring in a little Wilfred?
Yeah, where is he? No, a beautiful fan called Wilfred made this. Yeah, one is slightly bigger than the other, which is kind of like, but it makes it more real to me. It's the imperfections that you love the most. This is my favorite thing in the world right now.
Better than Bear? It's like a replacement for Bear.
Yeah, where is Bear anyway?
I don't know. He's like drunk somewhere. Seth MacFarlane, I think, stole him somewhere.
What sort of naughty things are we going to see Wilfred get into this season?
Some kinky voodoo doll type action. True. I know I do happen to have a doll at the moment, and you might think that I just make that up, but it's not true. It's not. There's some crazy stuff like I always kind of like to do things that I can say this has definitely never been on TV before, on any show, and the voodoo doll moment is one, and there are a bunch of more of those things this year that it was difficult to say. I thought, how are we going to top the pole dancing from last year? But I think we have. I'm not going to go into many specifics, except for the voodoo doll. What's that noise? Someone listening to the races? There it comes, and they're going up.
What is it? You created the Australian series, and what is it that made you think that it would work so well in America?
Me being in it? I thought that look, audiences responded really well to the short film when it was at Sundance back in 2003 and Palm Springs Short Film Festival. So I kind of thought that people would respond as dog lovers as they had in the past. So you just make the best show you can and hope for the best, and so far people like it.
Was there a weird moment where you were just kind of sitting around or whatever and it's just popped in your head? I mean, how did it happen?
The original idea?
Yeah, because it was your creation, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
a buddy of mine was telling me about how he was cock-blocked after a date with a girl by her dog, and so I just sort of started putting a voice to this dog and interrogating him, asking if he wanted a bong and asking him about their date, and we just went, that's the short film, and then we wrote it down, and a week later we shot it.
You shot the short, and then that's what went to Sundance, right?
Yeah. It won festivals around the world, and sort of had a following for a short film that was sort of unprecedented, really, like a fan base just from a short film. So that was why we were able to get the pilot for the original Australian version up, is because people could see it. It's an idea that I don't think would ever get up off the page or from a pitch. So people could see me in the suit, they could see the thing, and they knew it had people had a response to it. And so the same with America, we had the benefit of the Australian show, so people could see at least how the character worked. And the American version is very different.
Is the costumes completely different?
I recently watched the short film again, like after many years, and I'm surprised by how much the costume has changed. It's not the exact same costume, there's just slight adjustments over the years, and now it's kind of like, it's quite different.
What was behind the original creation of the show? Like, were you just laying there one day and thinking, like, what it would be like if your dog was, if you could see him, like, in a human form? What was behind it when you first created it?
Well, I always thought it was funny how you'd see, like, some dogs are like, they think they're human, and they're sort of pampered and they're treated like humans. And every now and then one of these dogs encounters a real dog in the park or whatever, and they find it confronting, and they almost like they don't want to acknowledge the other dog. It's like, no, I'm not you. I can't be you. I'm one of them, and that's what I wanted Wilfred to be. You know, like a person who's stuck in a dog's body. The frustration of why can't I have her? Why can't I sleep with her? If I wasn't in this, she'd be mine. So I always think it's funny what dogs get away with their owners, and it was just a very small idea that just took off.
In the episode that Wilfred wants to impress the people at Brian's office, and he's like brainstorming ideas on the bulletin board. I tweeted during that episode that I wonder if that's what it's like in the Wilfred writers' room, and David tweeted back and said it's exactly what it's like. What is it like in the Wilfred writers' room?
It's tough. That room has broken writers. Like it's a tough room, you know. It's not every comedy writer is, I guess, necessarily fit for this show. And that's not to say that they're not all great, but there's been some writers come and go that hasn't quite worked, and it's because it's a really hard show to write. There's so much going on. There's a psychological element. Wilfred exists on like 3 different levels. You know, he's the manifestation of Brian's psychotic mind mess, and then there's the actual menacing Wilfred sort of little elfish kind of crazy magical creature, and then there's a real dog, and then you've got love triangles, you've got a bromance, you've got the whole psychological thing of what is Wilfred. There's a lot going on in 22 minutes of television, so and to make that funny at the same time, it's difficult.
So do you know what Wilfred is ultimately? And I'm not asking you to tell us. It's just, do you know?
I'll happily tell you. You know, I mean, when we first started writing season 1, you know, David and I would argue about it, and he decided that he was a manifestation of Brian's psychosis. And I'd say, well, to me, he's like a magical creature. He's like, you know, he's like the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. He exists, and he has to exist because I need him to exist for me to buy him, and we battle it out, and we decide in the end, well, it's got to be both, you know. It needs to be something in the middle. And then over the duration of the show, you know, I've come around to sort of go, no, he's, you know, yeah, Brian's created him. And recently David said, I'm kind of coming around to the whole magic creature thing.